why Western women is mad, because look at her, she's pretty and she's a housewife and she takes care of 2 kids.
It's not our fault. They didn't even say that we steal their men. No, we don't steal your men. Do your men come in here?
Low blows. They're just clowning Western women right now.
Looks like it's that time again. Another news story. And this one comes from theblaze.com. That's Glenn Beck and some of those former Fox 5 news rejects. They all are on that site. I think it's not only Glenn Beck, but I think, what's the other guy's name? Andrew Wilkow, I believe his name is. He comes on like Patriot XM. It's like a lot of Patriot XM guys. And I used to listen to them, but it's like after a while, it's like I got bored. I was like, why should I listen to your rhetoric when I can make my own? So anyway, the Passport Bro movement is growing and the feminists are triggered. In an age when traditional family values, I added in the word family, my fault. In an age when traditional values are disappearing and monogamy and masculinity are often villainized, the new Passport Bro phenomenon isn't all that surprising. For those unfamiliar with the concept, the Urban Dictionary defines passport bros as black men who have chosen to seek out foreign women, typically from other countries, for relationships. There are other men who do this. They are white men. Those are called the passport Joes. Then there's, Korean guys, they're called the passport Chos, because what ends up happening is if you live in Korea, China, or Japan, they're having feminist problems with their women too. So they're going down to Southeast Asia and they're getting wives. Then you also have, women who are trying to copy the passport bros, because they try to copy everything men do, but they fail at it miserably. Those are called the passport hoes. Now, those angry feminists have tried to lump the passport bros in with the, the sex traffickers out there, but we have nothing to do with that whatsoever. Those are called the transport bros, and those are called the transport bros because they transport hoes. So we've got nothing to do with that at all. But anyway, the last segment that I'll mention is the stepdads. Those are called the cleanup bros. We have nothing to do with that either. Real passport bros are not going to foreign countries to wife up single moms. Real passport bros, true passport bros. No, they're getting younger, single, marriage-aged females. They're not going over there for single moms. So if you see a passport bro who's going over looking for single moms, he's not actually a passport bro. He's like something else. He's like a passport Joe. Okay, so anyway. For those unfamiliar with the concept, I've already read that. They believe that Western women have been influenced by cultural and societal pressures to behave in a certain way, and that by seeking out foreign women, they can find a more authentic, fulfilling, and harmonious relationship. This is seen as a way to restore the natural balance between feminine and masculine energy and to avoid the wickedness of Western women. I think really what it comes down to is the fear of marriage and divorce. And I think it also comes down to the fear of having your life savings stripped from you that you've worked for, your pension that you work for. Ron DeSantis of Florida, Governor Ron DeSantis, he just recently canceled permanent alimony. That was the shot fired across the bow. There have also been movements to force paternity tests to make sure that the father who signs on the birth certificate is actually the father. Now, I'm not going to go into that right now. I'll probably save that for another story. But let me just say this. The mere fact that we've had that DNA ability to test to prove paternity, that should have been done a long time ago. First of all, even if you're not thinking about the whole marriage, child support, divorce issue, whoever signs that birth certificate should actually be the father and the mother. You should not have people who have not been proven to be the parents signing the birth certificate. Now, in terms of paternity fraud, there's been lots and lots of women who've pulled paternity fraud on men. And it can be 10, 20, 30, 40 years, maybe even a lifetime, and a man goes not knowing that a child isn't his. Now, the government really doesn't care. And that's part of the reason why they've never pushed this through, because the health of the state is live births. The government's only concern is making sure that children get born. They don't care who takes care of them, and they don't care where they come from, which you're probably witnessing when you take a look at New York, California, and Philadelphia, and you take a look at the migrant crisis that we currently have brewing. They don't care where the children come from. They need able-bodied workers that they can put to work, and that's it. The health of the state is live births. They don't care who the father is. They don't care who the mother is. It's just that simple. This should have been forced through a long time ago. When a father signs that paternity test, he should also be handing over a DNA sample, and so should the mother. Now, it looks like that's coming to fruition, so I'm very happy to see that. So I don't really have to worry too much more about paternity fraud. I think paternity fraud will ultimately dry up. Infidelity will be basically punished by a dude packing up his bags and walking out the door. And it also works both ways, but for the most part, this paternity fraud mostly happens against men. So, it is what it is. It says, while the movement has been met with intense backlash for a number of reasons, Lauren Chen doesn't take it. Who the hell is Lauren Chen? Doesn't take issue with the idea of passport bros. I don't think anyone should find it strange that someone would move for a greater likelihood of finding a spouse if in this day and age it's totally common to move for a greater likelihood of finding a job, she explains. See, Lauren Chen, and the funny thing about it is it's obvious. Lauren Chen, she's obviously an Asian woman. Now, chances are, you could prove me wrong, but something tells me she's an Asian woman. And she makes a very good point. If you have to move to find a job, then why can't you move to find a spouse? That's a very good point. Asian women are benefiting from this, especially Filipinas and Thai women. They're absolutely benefiting from passport bros, passport joes. They're absolutely benefiting from this because for the most part, they're meeting men that they otherwise wouldn't have met. They're also finding relationships they otherwise wouldn't have found. And I've told this story numerous times. You see, in China, Japan, and South Korea, one of the problems that they're having is that their fertility rates are dropping, their marriage rates are dropping, their divorce rates in some cases are rising in those three main countries of East Asia. And another big problem is the men may refuse to marry women who've passed their prime, who've passed maybe 27 years old. You see, in China, those women are referred to as shengyu. And that's actually a Chinese term. It means leftover woman. But the Japanese, oh boy, these guys are brutal. The Japanese refuse to marry these women after 27, and they refer to the women as Christmas cake. Now, why is that? It's because during Christmas, they don't celebrate the same way Americans do. They celebrate by giving gifts of cake. The problem is if you have too much cake because you've gotten too much cake, what ends up happening is you can't eat all that cake because the Japanese people are very healthy and they're very slender for the most part. So they don't eat that much cake because if you have too much cake, it's like getting rum cake. If you have too much cake, it piles up. And if it piles up, now you got too much leftover cake. Now, if you ask a Japanese guy, well, why is it that you have to go outside of your country to find a wife? Why do you have to go to Vietnam, Laos, Cambodia, Thailand, Philippines? Why do you have to go down there? Why can't you just stay home in Japan and be with a leftover woman or leftover cake? That Japanese guy, he's going to look you square in the eyes and he's going to say, "No! No, want the Christmas cake! No! No, want the Christmas carol." So they're not having it. It's just that simple. They're not having it.
Guys, let's get our passports, bro. They don't appreciate us here.
It's an opportunity for them to go in search of spouses who they feel are going to be more subservient to them and do what they want, basically some sort of indentured servitude.
It's easier for these men to go overseas, get one of these victims.
A lot of these passport bros are exploiting a power imbalance economically.
Y'all are taking advantage of these women.
If you feel that you need to go to Antarctica to marry a polar bear,
but they're still doing the, oh, we're just going to leave and go to another country and find women, or you're going to die alone. Good luck dying alone with your cats.
Get a polar bear.
Yeah, it is much easier for these passport bros to go to other countries and exploit younger, more impressionable, less educated or uneducated girls living in poverty.
You know why? Because we don't care.
Look, we don't care.
We do not care.
So, as we go on, it says, while the movement has met with intense backlash, Lauren Chen makes a good point. So, it says, many have been quick to demonize the concept as a subtype of exploitation and even human trafficking. You can't really call this, I will solve that right now. You cannot call this human trafficking. First of all, in order to get married, both participants, male and female, must be of marriage age. Number two, there are legal documents that must be filed. Therefore, this has all been done above board. This is all being done within the law. There's no such thing as human trafficking when you're talking about marriage. Marriage is totally different simply because it's within the law, with legal document, of marriage age, and that's just that. Now, the detractors and the haters, the sideline haters out there, they would love to be able to label this human trafficking, but they can't. Those, by the way, those are the transport bros. And they're called the transport bros because they transport hoes. That has nothing to do with us at all. We are upwardly mobile and upstanding, law-abiding citizens. So, Lauren, however, knows that this is not the case because she spent much of her childhood in different parts of Asia. She attended American international schools and knew several families in which Western men and Asian women were happily married. She remembers hearing these men express that they enjoyed having an Asian wife because Western women were often too focused on their careers. But since they had money themselves, really what they were looking for was a partner who could complement them, i.e., do something they couldn't in, staying home with the kids and helping build a family. Healthy home life. Further, not everyone from a developing country is in poverty. She explains, debunking the idea that the only reason men seek wives overseas is because they want women who need them to survive. The other thing Lauren can't understand is the mentality of Western feminists who can usually be found ranting on TikTok, condemning passport bros for seeking more traditional relationships. If you're this disinterested in the men who are going overseas because you don't want the lifestyle that they're offering, why do you even care, Lauren asks. Like, why is this so triggering that a man who you supposedly aren't interested in is also not interested in you? That's what I don't understand, she continues. And lastly, criticizing men for going overseas to find a spouse is a giant double standard. If an American woman were to meet a rich foreigner who wanted to bring her somewhere exotic that she's never been, that would be literally a romance novel, Lauren says. To learn more about the Passport Bros, watch the clip below. Okay, I'm making my own clip right now. Oh, and this came from Lauren Chen. So apparently Lauren Chen wrote this. I don't know if her picture is here, but she's part of the staff. I'm guessing this might be her. I'm not going to play this. I'm not going to play any videos because I don't want to get copyright infringement of any type. But the reality is, I'm going to answer those questions in a second. I just wanted to see who Lauren Chen is because I think that's her. But if I find out it's somebody else, I'll put a link and you could see who it is. Well, to answer Lauren Chen's questions very succinctly and quickly, because I'm not going to keep you long. I know I always say that. Well, to answer your first question, if you're this disinterested in men who are going overseas because you don't want the lifestyle that they're offering, why do you even care? Well, Lauren, it's very simple. The women in America have been taught that they have the power over relationships. I personally don't see that as true, but they've been told that. They, however, cannot force men to marry them. All they can do is turn men down and be hypergamous and seek higher earning males. They call them high value males. Kevin Samuels, during his time, broke down what a high-value male is. Supposedly, a high-value man is a man who's made more than $100,000 a year for at least 3 years in a row. He is a public figure, which means that he has a job everybody knows of. he is also a utility to the community. Now, that usually entails someone like a mayor or a governor or a banker or somebody who's really big and the whole community knows them. It could even be a pastor, perhaps. It could be a church leader. It could be a community leader. However, he also goes on to say he does not include rappers and entertainers or athletes in some cases, unless they're businessmen and athletes or retired athletes who are businessmen. And the reason why is because a lot of rappers, their money is credit. Like a lot of rappers, end up broke simply because they've spent a lot of money on credit buying Lamborghinis, and then their albums don't sell because nobody's buying albums anymore. So they can go from making a lot of money to making nothing very, very quickly. They can also go from making nothing to a lot of money very quickly and then go right back to nothing. It happens more than you can imagine. There's a lot of so-called rappers who can't rap worth a shit. And he doesn't consider those to be high-value men. A high-value man has to be a utility to the community. He has a well-known public profile like LinkedIn. And for the most part, he's making a certain amount of money, and he's an upwardly positive public figure. Now, the women are seeking that. But there are so few of that they can't all get that. So what they do is they practice what's called selective mating strategy, where they refuse to date certain men until they're a certain age. And then at that point, they're looking for a plan B because they aren't married. They're usually single, childless, and they're not married. So what they end up doing is they end up going after plan B. Plan B may be the quote unquote educated lames, like you think of Urkel from Family Matters, educated lame. And you think Urkel chased Laura for like 8 years and she didn't give him any play. It wasn't until Urkel puts himself in a mutagen chamber and changes into Stefan, and that's when all of a sudden she's ready to come around. Now, if you look at both Urkel and the actress that played Laura today, you'll see that Urkel's pretty much doing a lot better. That's Jaleel White. He's actually doing a lot better. That said, selective mating strategy basically says, yeah, I'll date you for now, use your resources, but I'm probably not going to have children for you. And as soon as something better comes along, I'm leaving you. Now, Western men have figured this out, and Western men are avoiding this like the plague. They don't want to deal with this, and they don't want to worry about it. Now that they found out that they can get their passport and they can seek something overseas and they can find a better life for themselves, the women are angry because they don't have the power to control the man's resources if he's not married to them and has no children to them. And on top of that, he's getting a better deal. He's probably getting a chick half her age and marrying her overseas, and they want to label you a predator because they have no control over the situation. I'm not sure at this point if any women have tried to do something so stupid as lobbying Congress to stop men from getting passports or to stop them from being able to be issued passports. But one thing I can count on is the fact that white men in America have been doing this for so long that they will never allow anybody to come between them and their passport. So black men riding those coattails basically are doing the exact same thing. They're getting their passports, they're getting out there, they're seeing the world, and they're finding out that there's more to life. To quote this other YouTuber I know who has a channel called More to Life. His name is Jay, the black Filipino, a black male who actually moved overseas and married a Filipino woman, actually decided to live in Philippines, which isn't a bad idea considering the cost of living in New York and the quality of life in New York, California, and a bunch of other states is going to shit because they're allowing in illegal immigration, raising taxes, and also being anti-business, such as New York coming after coal-fired pizza, coming after your water boiler, coming after your gas stoves, coming after your gas equipment, and generally making it difficult to be a business person. So it's not actually a bad idea, I see, to retire overseas, especially to get away from the high taxation here. That's to answer question one. The women have no control, so they're angry about it because they're worried. They're pocket watching. They are dick policing these men. They are pocket watching and they are dick policing these men. I promised I wasn't going to be long, so I'm going to keep making this quick. Lastly, criticizing men for going overseas to find a spouse is a giant double standard. Well, we have videos of these women going to Africa for sex tourism. We have videos of them going down to Jamaica, the Caribbean, being on rafts and getting their booties rubbed like they are big rotisserie chickens.
Yo, every time them a pass them call, yo, them a teach you your value. Follow back a money, you know follow back a man. You a boss lady, no ambition. Follow back a money, you know follow back a man. You a boss lady, no ambition.
Plus size women, if you ever felt insecure, if you ever felt like you was too big, if you ever felt like you was just so high. How you doing? Good, thank you. If you ever felt like you just so fat that nobody don't love you, girl, come to Jamaica. They love us. Let me tell you something. They chase us around this resort. Listen, if you are over 200 pounds, bring your big ass to Jamaica. Please, I'm telling you, you definitely gonna leave with something.
We have the evidence, but they don't care. In fact, it kind of, at this point, let me just make a confession. I watch a lot of these YouTubers who keep bringing up the fact that we have these videos of them on rafts and going to sipping paint parties. That's what it's called. Now, use your imagination. You could figure that out. And my question is, why are you even bothering to do this? Because they've already told you they don't care. So there's no point in actually throwing the evidence in their face. They're literally telling you they don't care. That's like if you have a bank robber and you show him that you have his fingerprints on the gold bars and he's like, yeah, I don't give a fuck. And that's it. Like, they just don't care. And, you know, some people continue to use that evidence, but they don't care. That's it. They just don't care. The other question that I kind of skipped over, it says, why is it so triggering that a man who you aren't interested in is also not interested in you? Let me tell you something. This is the last thing, because I said I was going to make this quick. There's this bullshit narrative that they've been putting out. Oh, why don't you just make yourself better and then you get the women here? And I'm like, do you even hear what you're saying? First of all, if you're going to call somebody educated lame for avoiding prison, avoiding people who could land them in prison, getting a good job in science, technology, engineering, math, or medicine, and you're going to call this person an educated lame because they look like Urkel, because they got some glasses on or whatever it is, or they have incel tendencies, they're in their basement, on a computer or something, or in their parents' house on a computer. If you're going to do that and they are actually moving forward by doing things that are allowing them to move forward while not being set back by the prison industrial complex, then how stupid are you to tell them that what they're doing isn't working? Furthermore, why should anybody improve themselves for you? They are who they are. They're not going to improve themselves for you. They'll improve themselves for themselves. And chances are when they do improve themselves, they're not going to want you, because here you are castigating them for being who they are. They ain't got no goddamn reason to improve themselves for you. They can be, and they've proven it over and over, especially anybody who's on my channel has seen the photos I've posted. These men are going overseas, marrying, having children, and building a future that you can't, because they're in control of their own relationships and their own physique and their own mentality. They are grabbing their piece and you have no control over it. Why would they improve themselves? Why would they change themselves for you? They don't need, let me just say it like this. Whatever, I think back to Big Ed on 90 Day Fiancé. This was a short motherfucker and he was lying to this Filipino chick about how tall he was. I don't know why anybody would lie about how tall they are. I'm 6'6". I don't try to squeeze in an extra inch. I don't tell anybody I'm 6'7". We have a disease here. The women are openly saying, yeah, if you're shorter than 6, I refuse to date you. Big Ed, his name was Big Ed. From what I know, this dude was like shorter than 5'9" or something like that. And the dude wears like these high-heeled shoes, sneakers, like Skechers with the big heel on them. And he was lying about his height. And I'm like, yo, why would you lie about your height? That's not something you can lie about. You can lie about a lot of things, but that's not something you can lie about. Thing about it is, Big Ed came out of one relationship, had a daughter, and he went to a country where the average woman is shorter than he is. It's just that when he met Rose, who happens to be a YouTuber now, Rose was taller than he is. But he could have stayed over there and he could have met somebody who was just as tall as he is or shorter. Because the average woman over there is shorter than like 5'8" or 5'5". In fact, he could have gone to some of the surrounding countries. He could have found somebody shorter than him. Height wouldn't have been an issue. As far as I remember, they broke up because the main issue was he didn't want to have any more children. And she wanted to have children. He didn't. He already had a daughter. But my thinking is, it's like, you didn't have to improve yourself. All you had to do was go someplace where you could find somebody that would celebrate you for who you are. And what I think is so funny, they throw this narrative around like somebody's got to improve for your ass. And meanwhile, these are the same people spewing that body positivity bullshit. And I just put two and two together and I'm like, wait a minute. How are you telling somebody that they need to change in order to make other people accept them, but you're spewing that same body positivity bullshit every time Lizzo's face is on television? Furthermore, if you're so serious about body positivity, then why is it that women get upset when you say, hey, you're looking great today, you look like Lizzo, and then you take offense? Wait a minute. I thought you said that it was good to be like Lizzo. Now, if I had said, oh, you're looking great today, you look like Beyonce, or you're looking great today, you look like Rihanna, with that moonroof forehead. Rihanna. That's Rihanna, whatever. But they don't take offense to that, but they take offense to Lizzo. So how are you spewing this body positivity bullshit when if somebody tells you that you look like somebody who you absolutely know is not looking good, all of a sudden you take offense? But you're the one spewing the body positivity nonsense. I won't say make it make sense because it doesn't make sense. It's bullshit. See, I love using that term because I like to call things out as they are. It's bullshit. Get your passports. You get your money and your passport, get it together. All you STEM majors, you educated lames, nerds, Urkels, whatever the hell, incel. I don't give a shit if you are in it. First of all, as far as I'm concerned, there's no excuse to be an incel at this point. There's more than enough sellers out there. And even if you didn't want to sell it, there's more than enough women out there who are anxious to marry. Out there, maybe not here, because this country has devalued the family. This country has devalued family values. This country has devalued a father at the head of the household. This country has devalued patriarchy. There are other countries out there where patriarchy, family values, father as the head of the household are still indoctrinated into the family. This is the reason why those people are going to last forever and why American families are being replaced by immigrants who themselves are pro-patriarchy. Think about that for a second. We're literally replacing people here with immigrants from countries that have fathers at the head of the household, large numbers of children in the family, 4, 5, 6, 7. Meanwhile, the average family here, they've said that over the past 50 years, the average family has gone down from 4 children down to less than 3. They use decimal points, which I don't want, because you can't have half of a child, but they use decimal points, but I'm not even gonna bother mentioning that. But they're basically saying that people used to have like 4 and 5 children, and now we're down to like 2 or less. It is what it is. You don't have to, that does not have to be your reality. There's enough of you dudes who are working as digital nomads, IT, this, that, and other. You can go right overseas. You can work on a computer. You could be a, trainer for the foreign workers or whatever it is. You don't have to allow these people to write a narrative for you. Those pictures that, and I just want to say this because some people are, oh yeah, why are you putting all these pictures? Yeah, the reason why I'm posting those pictures, I have people who are literally emailing me pictures of them and their success abroad. Emailing those pictures to me. I'm not just finding them all. No, I have people emailing them to me. I have people asking me, oh, would you feature me and my wife and my daughter or my son on your channel? And I'm like, yeah, sure. Just send me the picture to my email. I've got pictures I got people sending me this stuff. Y'all know who you are. So the bottom line is this. Get your passports. I find it sad that most of these articles are so short. It's like they don't have the intricate knowledge of an actual passport bro or a person who's followed the movement. But guys, I'm going to end with this because I said I wasn't going to be long. Passport bros are winning. First of all, not only are we winning, but we've already won. The passport bros are the final solution to the gender war. We are the final solution. It's over. We've already won. The problem is, this is what winning looks like. You remember after we blew up Iraq and took Saddam Hussein out and hung him and everything? Hanged him. That's the proper term. There was a long period of time where the war was still being fought, even after George Bush stood on that ship and said, mission accomplished. So even after we won, there was still fighting that had to be done. This is the aftermath of winning the war. Every single year, more vacation videos, more family photos abroad, more marriage photos abroad, more wedding photos and honeymoons abroad. The passport bros have already won. We've won. Unfortunately, this is the part after mission accomplished where war becomes hell.
So what is the difference of Filipina? You can see.
Hello, welcome to the Asian Cafe. There are so many snacks waiting for you. You're gonna need these big chopsticks. So here is the Chinese offering. Now, if you want something a little bit more fishy, we do have the Vietnamese snacks. Now, if you want something with more of a tropical vibe, like a mango vibe, we do have the Filipino section. Now, if you want to destroy the toilet, we do have the Thai snack here.
So my man, 2 reasons to go get that passport. The woman in that other country, they're fit. Did I mention they're in shape? One more time, they're in shape. And they submit. And they listen. And they don't talk back. Highly unlikely you'll see them on here have a OnlyFans. Get your passport, boys. The woman submit. Yeah. That's all I wanted to say.
Dicen que yo no sé trabajar, pero lo que no saben es que yo me crié en el campo.
De frente, María, de frente que te grabes. No, por allá también. Tú camina. Del carro.
Sí puede, güey.
Sí pude.
You know, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but if you're looking for a man, just know that the reason you can't find him, a black man specifically, is because he's in Colombia already. He's in Colombia already, y'all. So this is the first time I've come to Colombia, like post-pandemic. So like seeing it in its like true form of like what the numbers are looking like. And when I tell you that my whole flight was full of it was full of black men traveling with other black men. They come into Colombia, baby. That's why you can't find them. They're all here.
Are poor and vulnerable.
Easier to manipulate.
Know their place.
Disadvantage.
Are in dire financial need.
They want their visas. They have to be quiet. They don't know better. That's why you have to go to developing countries to try to take their women, and it sickens me. And
yes, they'll do what you say.
She is in a dire situation
because she doesn't know about much in life.
They have to bow and scrape at these men's feet. If you are a man and brag about go to underprivileged third world countries to get a wife, an obedient wife, you are a predator.
Well, hello everybody. I'm from Thai.
I'm from the Philippines.
We're sitting here long ass time for our passport to come in. So where are you?
We're waiting for the passport, bro.
Don't hate.
To be continued.